Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Out Loud presented by Klipsch, a show about the power of making and listening to really good music. My name is Mike Barato. I'm a senior product manager with Klipsch Audio. We've been making speakers and headphones that bring the power, detail, and emotion of that live music experience to you for 75 years now. Pretty amazing. Today, I'm super excited to welcome Blu DeTiger, a New York native who's not only known for her just monster bass playing skills and TikTok virality, but she's also a singer, songwriter, producer, DJ, multi-instrumentalist, performer. And by the way, she's 21 years old. So she's doing all that at a pretty young age. Today, we're raising donations for the National Independent Venue Association, the NIVA. This is to help save our stages. When COVID-19 hit, independent live music venues were some of the first to close, and unfortunately will be some of the last to reopen. So please help these independent venues stay open, stay sustainable, and consider making a tax-deductible donation via the donation link below. So before we get into our conversation, Blu's going to actually wow us with a live performance. So we're super lucky. She'll be performing her track, Kinda Miss You, off her brand new EP, How Did We Get Here? So please welcome Blu DeTiger.
At the Rose Hotel with Karma's kiss, a black halo, an empty wish. We were just a one-week wonder. Didn't have a name next to your number. Now I have you on my phone. I saved by the bell, 'cause you never come back to my pal mademoiselle. I kinda miss you, kinda sorta, maybe, I don't know. I kinda miss you, kinda sorta, maybe, I don't know. Nothing, maybe I'm too icy. We'll never know what might be. We were just a one-week wonder. Didn't have a name next to your number. Now I have you on. I saved by the bell, 'cause you're never coming back. You said I'd see you in hell. I kinda miss you, kinda sorta, maybe, I don't know. I kinda miss you, kinda sorta, maybe, I don't know. Kinda, sorta, maybe, I don't know. But I could kiss you.
Man, Blu, that was super sick. Thank you so much for that exclusive performance. That was amazing. You guys are great.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So major congratulations on the release of your debut EP, How Did We Get Here? Man, you're everywhere right now. You are the picture of being viral. So how did
That's
hopefully
super
that,
nice. Thanks.
well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
how I want to talk about the album before we talk about TikTok and social media and being viral, but
hmm
how do you feel that the EP showcases sort of your evolution as a musician? Um, what were some of the more challenging parts of sort of bringing it to life and creating that record?
Yeah, I mean it's been weird because I'd only put out singles before this, so this is kind of like my first full project of like cohesive, songs that both like, they all elevate each other and complement
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
I think, or I hope. So yeah, I mean putting together like a full project is definitely a really different feeling. Super rewarding. But yeah, it takes a long time to get it all together.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you mentioned, you've only put out singles. Singles are such a part of like
Different
the
feeling.
culture now. Yeah. And it's,
Yeah,
um,
they're important. Yeah, important. And I'm glad that I, did it that way to kind of build up to this
yeah.
project. But I think like as an artist, um, it's easier, or like I think beneficial to have like a actual project to really showcase your artistry, which I think was the most important thing for me for this project. It was really like solidifying and locking in, the kind of sound I wanted and what I wanted to express and how I wanted my voice to sound and my, production. Like I produced a lot on this EP as well. So it's kind of like a
Man.
mix of all of those things, just like really solidifying the Blu DeTiger sound, I
Cool.
guess you could
Man.
call it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And it absolutely does that. So props on that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
good.
for sure.
That's good. Good news.
So I want to point out in your performance just now, you were playing 6-string, but you are
I
an
was
absolute, like, you know where this is going. Like you're
Yeah.
a total legend, total animal when it comes to playing bass. But that's such a unique instrument, especially from a songwriting perspective. Is that sort of where you start when it comes to songwriting? Tell me about that process. Does it start on bass? Does it start on 6-string guitar? Does it start on, a synth or a computer?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think, for me, bass is like my thing, even though I was playing guitar in that song, just because that song I think lends itself well to like a nice guitar part. And sometimes I like to showcase, I guess, like my multi-instrumentalist thing. But yeah, I mean, bass is my main thing, and it's like my main source of expression since it's like my first instrument. So yeah, when I go down to like, write music or produce something or start an idea, it usually starts with the groove for sure. Like mostly like 90% of the time it starts with the bass line. And yeah, for me, I think I use the bass in like a different way almost, where it's, it almost acts as like another melodic, more of a melodic instrument as well. And it's kind of like, I call it like the emotional undercurrent of like all the songs. Like if you listen to the EP, like the bass is like always at the forefront in the mix and in the songs, and it's really adding that extra element of like groove but also melody.
Yeah.
So
Man, it's
super important to me.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. Like I think of, the best bass players in the world, yourself included, always have this sort of melodic, like supportive line in their playing and writing. And it's not just about like bringing in that low end, but it's about like playing off the melody or playing off the lyric line or whatever the melodic line is. And so, it's
totally
really neat to hear that in your playing.
Yeah, totally. I think for me too, it's like, it's almost hard for me not to do that. You know what I mean? Since it's just so ingrained in my brain. Like when I sit down to make something, it's kind of impossible for me not to have the bass line like right at the center. So yeah, it's kind of like
awesome.
built into my being at this point, kind of.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you obviously really exploded on TikTok. Before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about your live performances. And you were playing clubs in New York sort of multiple times a week. Rumor has it before you were legally allowed to be in them. We won't get you
don't wrap me
in
out.
trouble for that. Yeah,
we're
not going to narc on you. But obviously the last year we were talking about the National Independent Venue Association. the last year has been crazy for live music. I mean, how have you been dealing with that? What have you been doing to kind of keep that sort of motivation and that live music experience going?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because it's such a big part of being an artist and a musician is the live element. And like, I think for me personally, I love the process of writing and creating, but I think the live part, actually performing, is I think my favorite part of being a musician, being an artist, is that like live connection. So yeah, it's been really, really hard, but I think you know, these like little virtual performances, even though it's not, you know, not the same and you're not getting the crowd thing, just the process of playing, like just being able to play with other musicians. Like my brother was in the video that was in the performance I just did for this, but you know, just being able to play with other musicians is like, you forget that feeling. So I think doing these virtual things has helped get into that, like tap into that. And yeah, just the thought that it's going to come back, because I know it's going to come back pretty soon now, it's looking. I think that's what's just been motivating me, just knowing that it's gonna come back eventually. So yeah, we'll see. Well, I have some tours planned, but I can't say yet, okay, but good. It's happening. It's gonna happen.
We won't get you in trouble for that either. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad the viral thing, or the like one-off video thing, is kind of helping. We're super glad and super lucky to have you, but hopefully we'll all get to see you in a club sometime sooner rather than later.
I hope so. Yeah, for sure.
So you exploded on TikTok. It was massive, and it was all fast, right? It was like, I feel like you started on TikTok, and then a couple months later you were huge. So and kind of going back to like the short form single, or talking about singles versus albums. I mean, TikTok is content. How does that influence your songwriting, and how does your songwriting, like, how is it tailored to being on TikTok, or tailored to like short form content?
Yeah, I think for me, like, I don't think I ever go into a session or like a writing situation where I'm like, I'm gonna write a song for TikTok or write a song that's like a viral song. Like, I think if you do that, it's definitely not gonna happen in my eyes. So I think in that way, I try to not let the that affect like the actual creation process. But I think in terms of just being on the platform so much, and knowing how much influence it has in the industry, and just in people's, people in like music discovery, I think it has almost affected the way that I was thinking about this the other day, like the way I like start a song. I think like a lot of the intros on the EP are very like captivating almost. I think I'm more conscious of that, knowing, with streaming and everything, you need to make sure that the listener is like kind of in it from the start. Otherwise they can just skip the song and go to the next. There's a million songs. So I think in that way it's almost affected. It just made me think about intros a little bit more, which has been kind of interesting. And I didn't even realize until I was just like thinking about it the other day that I actually think on the EP, all the intros are a little bit like, kind of grab you. But in terms of the other stuff, I mean, I love TikTok. I think it's just like opening up my eyes to more creative ways to showcase my music, and find a new audience for it through that app and everything. But the short form, it's weird. I actually think that songs are gonna, like, right now songs are like 2 minutes now. I think songs are gonna end up being like a minute, like in a year or something. Just gonna be like a minute songs, which is fine.
That's,
you say it all like in a minute, you say it all.
As much, like, to your point, as easy as it is for someone to just skip to the next song, like, as an artist, you probably just, it's getting to a point where you really have to say what you mean and say it quickly, and then move on to the next thing.
You got to get to the point fast.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of songs, your latest song is called Vintage, which is, in the song, you kind of sing about this vintage girl hanging out with like flashback kids looking for a vintage boy, like super cool visual and super cool lyrically.
Thanks.
But you're 21 years old, and how do you feel like maybe your music taste, speaking of like vintage tastes or vintage experience, how do you think your taste differs from the average 21-year-old?
Yeah, I mean, I think now with social media and I think kids now, or like people in their 20s now, are more like outright, like they're how do I put it, like will say their actual favorites more easily than, so like I think in middle school it was like really apparent that I had like really different taste than all the other kids, because you know when you're in middle school you're trying to fit in, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, oh, like the Rolling Stones are better than LMFAO, or like whoever was like big when I was in middle school, like whoever was like there, or I don't even know, like whatever was popping, like. But yeah, I think now, since there's so many, like music is so individualized now with like you know streaming and all that stuff, and I think people are more, you know, people have weird, you know, different tastes, and they're not afraid to say it and like own it now. But I think even so, I probably still listen to like a lot of older stuff than most people my age. But
that's all right.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone kind of does. I feel like people still listen, especially during the pandemic. Like so many people were, you know, like newer music wasn't being consumed as much as older stuff for like comfort and familiarity. So I feel like a lot of people were getting back into stuff that they heard in like childhood, or like that their parents played.
Yeah,
so,
that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. Man,
I like really old stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited for your beef with LMFAO now.
Oh my god, I know. I mean that. Okay, those songs were like are insane. They're amazing. Like hit song. Like I'm so not snobby about it, because I think if a song is like number one, it's a good song. You know what I mean? Like if it's number one, you can't say it's a bad song because that many people like it that it's number. You know what I mean? So I don't, not dissing them. But I was just saying, at the middle school dances, like I would be like, what is this? Like I would just be one of those kids that's like, put on some like Led Zeppelin. Like I was into like rock. Like I don't even know. But now I'm kind of, I can get down with everything, especially as a DJ. You kind of have to know everything. So.
Oh sure, yeah. So wait, how do you discover new music? I mean, obviously, like when I was a kid, it was like you'd listen to the radio or go like buy a CD, and you know, maybe when you were a kid, it was more like iTunes and streaming, and now it's like TikTok and social media. Like, how do you find new music?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think through TikTok, I find new stuff every day, and and like streaming, Spotify, like Discover Weekly. The algorithms are getting so good. Where every time I Discover Weekly come, I'm like, yo, this is fire. Like every time I discover like new Discover Weekly. So I think the algorithms are getting so good where like they know you better than you know yourself almost. It's like they know your taste better. Yeah. So I think kind of the same as I guess everyone right now, like TikTok and streaming and Spotify and Apple and all that new stuff and playlists and through my friends.
Cool.
But yeah.
Awesome. So we have 3 rapid fire questions. We've been doing this on Out Loud the last few episodes. You have 5 seconds to answer these. So don't think through them. Don't think too much. Yeah. But they're rapid fire. So let's get into it. Number 1, most embarrassing moment on stage.
Oh, I fell once really badly. It was, should I give the story?
Yeah.
Should I give the story? Okay, so it was. I was
say no.
Okay, because I was like, okay, 5 seconds. Like I can't fit this whole thing in 5 seconds. But I was playing a show with these guys, the Knox. They're like a DJ duo, and they had a live band. So we did I was playing in their band. This was on tour, and we were in Denver at this venue called Bluebird Theater, and we had these risers. Like it was like me on the ground, and then the drummer was on the riser, and we had some like extra risers. So I would like, you know, oftentimes go up on the riser and like rock out and like step up, and then I would like step back down. Like I would just like move around the stage a lot. And I think this show in particular, the reason why it's so embarrassing is because this show in particular, I was like in one of those moods where I was like, I'm gonna nail like the dance moves tonight. Like it was because we had this like light choreography, like really simple choreography, but I was like, I'm gonna nail the dance moves tonight. Like I'm just gonna play the best show ever. Like I'm just gonna nail it tonight. And so I was like in that really like focused zone. And then in the middle of the show, I like go up on the riser and I step back down and I trip on the freaking wire.
Cool.
And I'm wearing these like I'm wearing these like 5-inch heels or something, like 5-inch like silver heels. I trip over the wire, I fall, and it's like my bass hit the ground, so you could hear it was like like you could hear it was crazy. It was like it was like, but everyone was like laughing. So like the whole band, like we were all kind of laughing about it. And then because I wasn't like luckily I wasn't hurt that badly, but I was like, and then after I had to play synth bass. So I'm like hopping on one foot and I'm like playing. It was really funny. And then all these tweets were coming through. Like I saw on Twitter after, everyone was like, is that blonde girl okay? Like, is she okay? Is the blonde bass player okay? So it was really embarrassing.
Well, glad you're okay.
Yeah, but you know, everyone has a stage fall. So that was a really long-winded story. But yeah, I fell on stage and it was pretty embarrassing.
Our first episode was with LMFao, who's this killer like American rock duo, sister duo. And their most embarrassing moment on stage was actually falling down a stairway leading to a stage. So you're not alone.
Damn. See, people have,
It's all right. Here's a good one. Best sounding venue you've ever played. Speaking of National Independent Venue Association.
Brooklyn Steel in New York is fire.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Is amazing. And like 930 Club in DC is a really good venue.
Yeah.
Where else?
Those are two great ones. Man.
Yeah, Brooklyn Steel I think that's the best sounding venue in New York for sure.
Huh.
I think.
I'll have to check it out when this is all over.
In my opinion. I guess out of the ones I've played, I think.
Yeah. Hey, you're the professional. You're going to know.
Yeah.
All right. The last rapid fire question is also the weirdest. Give your best ASMR sound effect.
Oh. Can you hear this?
Sure. Yeah.
Can you hear this? Okay. That works,
sure, they'll
right?
they'll fix it in post.
Can you hear this?
So Blu, thank you so much for hanging with us. It's been awesome to have you on today on Out Loud. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Everybody, if you haven't yet, please go listen to Blu's brand new EP, How Did We Get Here, on wherever you get your music. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on all of your social media platforms at Klipsch Audio for more episodes coming soon. And please consider making a tax-deductible donation to the National Independent Venue Association to help save our stages. See you next time here on Out Loud.